No one expected this. Everyone believed Clive Davis was the hidden force running Diddy's dark operations, but now it appears things were falling apart between them. A recently surfaced voicemail strongly suggests that Diddy felt completely overlooked and deserted by Clive Davis and was planning to reveal Clive's secrets before his passing.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice.
No one expected this. Everyone believed Clive Davis was the hidden force running Diddy's dark operations, but now it appears things were falling apart between them. A recently surfaced voicemail strongly suggests that Diddy felt completely overlooked and deserted by Clive Davis, and was planning to reveal Clive's secrets before his passing.
I have to ask you, what was your favorite memory working with Diddy?
You know, personally, I've got to tell you, he really is a major star in this film tonight. He's a spokesman all the way through. I met him before I ever knew of him. I met him when he was 21 years old. And when we met, you know, he played me Craig Mack's Flavor in Your Ear. He played me 3 cuts from the forthcoming Notorious B.I.G. album. And we talked for hours and hours about music, and I bought into his dream. And I financed Bad Boy Records. And we had an incredible run, an incredible period.
For a long time, one burning question has trailed music mogul Clive Davis every time Diddy grabs media attention. Exactly how tight were these two figures operating behind closed doors? When Jaguar Wright was confronted with that very topic, she spoke without any hesitation. Everything kicked off after Clive Davis was spotted walking into a gathering following Diddy's arrest. Journalists approached him and questioned him about Diddy, but rather than offering a straightforward reply, Davis reportedly acted as though he had absolutely no clue who they were referencing.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
Like Puppy. The status of Puppy. Yeah.
What do you make of that situation?
His responses, or complete absence of them, instantly grabbed everyone's curiosity. Was Clive Davis genuinely bewildered? Was it simply a result of his advancing years? Or was he deliberately creating distance from someone whose reputation has become buried in scandal? Jaguar Wright claims to have the answer. In her words, Clive Davis was possibly the most dangerous criminal operating within the entire industry.
I have to ask you, you mentioned Clive Davis. They just showed him recently walking into somewhere, and they asked him about Diddy, and he said, who? Is that old age, or does he not, they're not in the same world? Or they're in the same world, but they're not cohorts?
He's definitely been his ass.
Oh. Okay.
I would call that the same world.
Okay. Pretty
And
intertwined.
for him to say Diddy who is his way of saying, I'm not talking about Sean anymore. Maybe he's been playing cozy with the other Sean. Maybe he just got him another Sean.
So no one tells P. Diddy what to do. Like,
Absolutely.
who tells him what to do?
Clive Davis in the beginning. No, he didn't empower him. That could put his on a block. He gave him power. And all he had to do was diddle-dee-dee and diddle-dee-dum. Like, he wasn't gonna tell Gene and them that's how he was getting the money.
Right.
Let's be real about that. You think he was going to admit to these who he went to school with, who essentially he asked to come to make his G official? Like you heard him say, Christopher Williams, street nigga, gangster nigga, Pete Rock, I'll be short. They from the hood. You know what I'm saying? Gene Deal. Like, ain't nobody looking at how Puff positioned himself. There was a wall of protection and talent and brilliance around him. Nobody had to look at him for real, for real. And the truth is nobody did. Everybody laughed and joked about him dancing like a idiot in all them god videos. Twirling around in circles and this been wild. Like, you know. So I'm just saying, they didn't know. And he wasn't telling them. They just know he got the budget. He go to LA, he talk to Clive, he come back with the bread. Apparently, he has this man's confidence. Yeah, I'm sure that man was very confident with his in his mouth. You know what I'm saying? Clive is a whole freak.
You think Clive put him on to all
I
that?
know. Clive, that's what he do. Queen Clive. Long may she reign in hell.
When 50 Cent
Don't nobody want to talk about why R. Kelly's bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway, why his tour bus was parked in Clive Davis's driveway at the house where the went down between Chris and Rihanna. Don't nobody want to talk about why it was filled with video girls who were being
According to Jaguar Wright, Diddy was not the only individual pushing to uncover Clive Davis. Angie Stone was also reportedly gearing up to do exactly the same thing before she was suddenly removed. Angie Stone passed away under deeply strange conditions in a vehicle collision, just as several other outspoken public figures in Hollywood have. Drawing from her own history in the music world and what she claimed to have uncovered over many years, Jaguar stated she found the entire situation highly questionable. She raised doubts about why, if it was purely accidental, there were reports of non-disclosure agreements being quietly circulated.
In my opinion and all of my investigative knowledge for all of the years that I have been in the industry, investigating the industry and all the harm that it does, it looks like a sacrifice to me. It looks like a sacrifice to me.
Okay.
Why do you need NDAs for an accident? Haven't I asked that question on this couch before?
Right.
Why do you need an NDA for an accident? If it's an accident, it's an accident. Anything said or brought about, there should be no pushback. There should be no hush-hush. A lot of people going missing. That driver's missing now, too.
Right.
He went to work, turned in his truck, said he was traumatized, and just disappeared. Aaron Hall style.
But we got to get your take because, again, this is something that not only Suge Knight have come out and said, but Whitney's, I believe it's her own cousin, I think it was, not her sister, but saying that Ray J really had something to do with it. And they said if we really go back and look at it from the party continuing with Clive to Ray J walking out, covering his face, being...
hiding under a jacket while I believe, wasn't it Waffles?
Yeah, Waffles.
That scurried him out the back. As he walked past the bus that had Whitney in it, even though they had another one reported in the pictures of that. Yeah.
Should we look further into when we see things like this, that this is before social media was what social media was?
We should always look further because there's always lies. Always. So many people didn't even acknowledge Angie's passing.
Right.
It was almost like they were told not to.
Numerous individuals suggested Angie had been preparing to expose powerful figures in the music world. Jaguar disagrees with that narrative. According to Jaguar, Angie had no initial intention of exposing anyone. Jaguar stated Angie believed she had uncovered that she was financially deceived and robbed. She said Angie simply wanted her rightful earnings returned, and according to Jaguar, was fully ready to speak openly about what she believed truly occurred, including making direct accusations involving Clive Davis.
Oh, trying to blow the whistle on her.
No, she wasn't trying to. She found out they robbed her blind. She wanted her money back, and she was ready to expose Queen Davis.
Correct. Tyler Perry spoke up for her.
No, he didn't.
Oh, okay.
That's not what I would call that. That sound more like to me, where's my cut?
Ooh.
That's what that sound like to me. Because Monique was very right about one thing. You don't get to be outraged over Angie when you did the same thing to her. And still doing it lightweight. You don't get to be outraged over Angie after what you done to Monique.
Now, before all these individuals could publicly reveal the truth about Clive Davis, they were either thrown into prison or abruptly disappeared from the living world. And now, just as perhaps Clive's most prominent protege was preparing to expose him, he has passed on. Could this possibly be another calculated trick? Might he have staged his own passing to escape the consequences of Diddy's revelations? That seems highly doubtful. For now, it genuinely appears that Clive Davis has departed this world before any real truth about him could fully surface.
You're going to tell me Clive Davis has passed away at the age of 94? I woke up shocked this morning because this man has single-handedly outlived majority of the artists he was connected to. And listen, I know that there are some people who are probably in his family or X, Y, and Z that are very, very sad. But what I am saying is I need a documentary. I need a documentary of the artist that he was connected to that seemingly had a weird passing that happened. You know, a lot of people don't like Clive Davis for the mere fact of when Whitney Houston passed away, he continued with his pre-Grammy party saying the show must go on, and they hadn't even removed Whitney Houston's body from upstairs. There are some people who don't like him because of what happened to Janis Joplin, Phyllis Hyman, all these artists that we've heard out throughout history. And I'll say this, okay? When they came for Diddy, a lot of us, including myself, was like, when is Clive going to be next? When is he going to be next? And Clive has escaped somehow. He escaped somehow, y'all. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up on the side of YouTube, okay, that talks about it all. That talks about it all. And I'll say this, if they were right about Diddy, allegedly, you know, he is in prison right now, allegedly, then what else could they have been right about? I need a documentary. 50 Cent, get on that.
Now, Amara brought up several names during her account, and their personal encounters with Clive Davis have also been absolutely horrifying. The troubling stories surrounding Clive Davis did not begin with today's breaking news. According to her, they stretch back many decades, and some of the most celebrated names in the music world carry their own painful encounters with one of the industry's most dominant executives. T-Boz specifically made a jaw-dropping statement about what unfolded following TLC's massively successful album Crazy Sexy Cool. She revealed the album brought in nearly $75 million, yet each group member reportedly walked away with only $50,000.
Because TLC had generated on Crazy Cool $75 million, and they gave us $50,000 apiece. So I was like, what the hell? So, of course, Lisa was the ringleader.
Like, we need to go get our money. I need to know where my MF and money's at.
So, you know, she was locked up in the diversion center for burning down the house. And she was just like, okay, we gonna get LaFace and them girls I was locked up with. We gonna drive up there. We gonna take the guns. And then we had this limo driver.
Wait, she just got out of jail?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And we had the limo driver. And he was the getaway car. So we went up there and held everybody hostage, and Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo.
Do you ever have nightmares about TLC holding you hostage that time?
Records interrupted a meeting with Diddy and wouldn't leave till Clive ponied up more cash for their hit album.
While the account was delivered with a touch of humor, It also revealed the deep frustration TLC had apparently built up over time. Jaguar said she completely understood their feelings because she claimed to have personally endured something remarkably similar. She recalled standing up to an executive at MCA over money she firmly believed was rightfully hers, saying artists sometimes felt pressured into drastic measures simply to receive fair compensation. Jaguar also brought up a recorded conversation featuring the iconic vocalist Phyllis Hyman.
I was so terrorized by him. Whether he meant to do it or not, I'll never know. But he sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again, well, we can't say that on public radio. What I may do to someone who tries to hurt me again in this business, I'm not having it. I should be respected as I respect, and I will not have someone try to ruin my spirit.
Interestingly, this recorded conversation took place not long before Phyllis Hyman tragically left this world. In fact, it appears Phyllis had actually experienced numerous troubling encounters involving Clive Davis, where she repeatedly found herself trapped in situations where Clive maintained complete control and dominance over her circumstances.
When it comes to Phyllis Hyman, she had a lot of incidents with Clive Davis, but there was one incident that stands out the most. By the start of 1984, Phyllis Hyman had $50,000 in unpaid bills. She owed a lot of people money, she couldn't pay her staff, and her record label Arista, they were trying to work with her. Money was getting tight, so Phyllis and her manager, they set up a meeting with the record label. The meeting was to talk about her finances and future plans with the label. And I think she was hoping to leave with the check after. But they would shut that down fast, as Phyllis would find out she owes the label $429,000. Also around this time, Clive is locked in on Whitney Houston, who he sees as his next big star. And even after finding out that she owes money, she still tried to make it work with the label. So they have another meeting after that one, and this time around, Phyllis is going in with a clear mind and a clean slate. She wants to make everything right with Clive Davis. The meeting goes great, and for what Clive told her, he wanted to work things out with her. Once she leaves, she gets dropped from the label that same day. Even though he told her he wanted to work things out and wanted to keep working with her. This put her in a bad spot because now she's a free agent, but she still owes them the money.
And in a truly heartbreaking turn, Phyllis would ultimately pass away under deeply puzzling conditions, reportedly while still carrying an outstanding financial debt owed directly to Clive Davis.
Phyllis Hyman died from an overdose back in 1995. It broke everybody's heart, but what a lot of people don't know is that when she was found that day, she was still alive. By now we all know, Phyllis Hyman did not have the best mental health, and this is something that really affected her life. She believed that she wasn't good enough, and she struggled with bipolar disorder. And even with all of that, I don't think nobody expected for her to take her own life. And I think when we talk about her death, we always make it seem like she was already gone when she was found. But truth is, she was still alive. On June 30th, 1995, Phyllis Hyman was found in her New York apartment. Her friends, they went over to her place as they were gonna go with her to the Apollo Theater. So they were in the lobby waiting for her, and she never showed up. So they went up to her apartment and they found a sign on the door that said she was taking a nap. They knew something was wrong, so they started talking to each other, and that's when they make a game plan to break down her door. So when they break down her door, they find her in her bed with a bathing suit and a robe on. She had a sleeping mask on too to cover her eyes, and that just tells you just how far gone she was from this world already. And they find her suit note right below her hand, and when they were reading it, they could tell that the handwriting, it was a little shaky. As she was writing the letter, the drugs started to kick in. At first, when they find her, they're looking for a pulse and they can't find one, so they run downstairs to the lobby where her other friends are at. They grab her other friend because she was in the medical field. She runs upstairs and she finds a weak pulse on Phyllis. They called EMTs and they rushed her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead 90 minutes later. Phyllis Hyman was such a good person, and it's so sad to see how things ended for her.
This is precisely why Diddy threatening to expose Clive Davis carries such enormous weight. It is a student turning violently against his own teacher. Jaguar has consistently claimed that Diddy never created his own rulebook from scratch. Instead, she firmly believes he absorbed everything directly from Clive Davis. In her perspective, the tactics people now blame Diddy for had already existed within a long-established structure inside the music business for many years. One of Jaguar's most powerful claims revolves around Whitney Houston. According to Jaguar, Whitney had begun noticing that enormous sums of money were vanishing from her income. Jaguar claimed Whitney was actively preparing to abandon Clive Davis's record label after realizing she was not receiving the compensation she had rightfully earned.
Davis had something to do with Whitney Houston's unaliving because she was getting ready to leave Clive Davis's record label because she realized she was missing a whole bunch of money. And a lot of people thought it was terrible when Clive Davis continued to party even though Whitney Houston had just died in the same hotel. And then to add that with even more mystery, it was super weird when Whitney Houston gave this note to Brandy the night before she passed away. And honestly, I want to know what that note says more than anything honestly in the world. And then after Whitney Houston passed away, Bobby Brown's sister started saying that Whitney's death was no accident and saying that Bobby Christina was not safe.
Whitney Houston's body told anybody upon looking at it that it was foul play. Okay, don't get it twisted. No, Whitney Houston, I counted at least 10 gashes in her chest alone. She had marks up and down her legs. Her fingernails were. Her face was out. It was blown up. Yes, as if somebody was punching her in the face. Whitney Houston fought for her life.
Jaguar Wright claimed that this happened to Whitney Houston because she was trying to leave Clive Davis. And then she said the same thing happened to Bobby Christina because Bobby Christina inherited Whitney Houston's estate. And Jaguar Wright claimed that Bobby Christina's boyfriend had a meeting with Clive Davis, and this is how Clive Davis basically set it up to make the same thing happen to Bobby Christina.
According to Jaguar, Bobby Christina's companion, Nick Gordon, allegedly held a private meeting with Clive Davis before everything tragically unraveled. Jaguar claimed that gathering was connected to a much broader scheme, though she offered no concrete proof to back that claim. The conversation grew even more intense when Bobby Brown's sister stepped forward and shared her own account of what happened. She claimed Nick Gordon entered Bobby Christina's life very shortly before Whitney's sudden death. According to her, Nick was directly responsible for taking her life.
And just wait till you hear what Bobby Brown's sister had to say about Bobby Christina's passing.
Basically, right before Whitney was, Nick was brought into the picture. And when Nick did that to Bobby Christina and she was rushed to the hospital, because after he beat her and drug her up them steps, he got her up with something and threw her in the bathtub. It was a setup. It was a setup. Yes. Nick was told not to let her go out of that house and to do whatever it was he got paid to do.
TLC raised nearly identical grievances many years earlier upon discovering they were receiving far less money than anticipated despite moving millions of album copies worldwide. The members of TLC openly challenged their label executives in public regarding their financial situation.
A brief question for you. I watched a couple of your interviews and you talked about taking Clive Davis hostage. And I just wanted to, because we seen the movie, so I wanted
that
to,
happened.
Yeah, I wanted to just touch on that and just get the outcome of that, like what,
the real deal.
Yeah, what happened, what transpired
really
after that.
Okay, well, at that time, we had already left Pebbles, and so we had a lot of questions. We weren't making any money, and we were selling albums and all that, and so LaFace Records was, they point to Arista, and Arista would point back to them, and so we're like, well, let's just go to the head, and that is Clive Davis.
Right.
So Lisa met a few friends when she was, after the burning of the house and everything, she was in a little trouble. She was at this little center.
Oh, Lisa.
And she met some tough girls. They were big. No, I'm serious, like way bigger than you, like huge. Like you would almost think they were like dudes, but they were girls, like look like this, but like, hey, you know, like that. You remember them, I know you did. So she gathered her crew, and she and, she and those girls, Antion drove.
And Tay-Tay.
Yeah, and Tay-Tay, which is Tion's cousin. Tay-Tay don't play. And they drove to New York. I got on a plane, met them there, and we had a plan. So, you know, we didn't have any plaques. We didn't have nothing. So we instructed the girls. We said, all right, we're gonna go up to Arista, and I said, we're gonna call, and I said, I'm gonna do the talking. And, because, you know, Chili's the sweet one. Okay. I am sweet. If you cross me, I'm not. So anyway, no.
I was about to say, she's sweet, but
Don't mess with me. But anyway, so we told the girls, you know, when we go there, go on every floor. I can't remember how many floors there were at Arista at the time, and we said anything that says TLC, from the plaque to a regular poster, we don't care what it is, get it. And go and put it in the limo. We had already talked to the limo driver. He was ready. He was like, okay, cool, I'll park right here and I won't leave until y'all say so. So we call up, ring, 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 you know, hey, it's TLC for Clive. He's like, hi, girls, how are you doing? I was like, hey, Clive, you know, we're in town, we miss you, we haven't seen you in a while, we want to come up and say hi. Yeah, girls, come on.
Accounts from within the group painted a vivid picture of just how frantic and desperate their struggle became, as they fought relentlessly to reclaim the earnings they firmly believed had been unlawfully taken from them.
Girls going, and then we go in the room, and then, Lisa's cousin. I don't remember, what? No, Tay-Tay is Tion's cousin. Lisa's cousin was there too. You know who I'm talking about. And we walked into Clive's office. Puffy was in there playing that's when he was Puffy, playing his music and stuff. And so, you know, we walk in, and of course everybody's like friendly and ready to say hello. And Tion's cousin walks over, at the time it was a tape, stops the tape, gives it to Puffy and says, TLC's got a meeting with Clive and you got to go. Your meeting's over. And Tough Puffy is like, he didn't put up a fuss or nothing, but he was confused, of course, and so.
And what's funny is he told me the exact same story from him. His perspective is the funniest.
So he goes out, and we have one of the girls acting as security outside of that door, and we said, don't let anybody in or out unless we say so. Okay, so Clive is like, girls, what's going on? And so we're like, we need to talk to you, because we're broke, we don't have no money, and LA is talking about you, and like, we just going on and on and on. And there was another person that needed to be in that meeting who handled finances and stuff there. So he called him on, you know, on the intercom or whatever and said, come to the office. Then the guy calls back, he's like, those ladies or bodyguards won't let me in. So, and mind you, somebody's already called the NYPD, because the other girls are like going all around taking plaques down and everything. And so, of course, you know, can you imagine like working? You're like, wait a minute, what's happening right now? Are we getting robbed? Like, you know, and so, after that, you know, the other gentleman comes in and I start talking, and then I get all emotional because I'm mad, I'm crying, and so this is like for real. And we said, you know, it's not fair. We're selling all these records and we don't have anything to show for it. Like, this is not right.
Certain individuals have also drawn a parallel connection to Biggie Smalls. Based on persistent longtime rumors, Biggie was reportedly considering walking away from Bad Boy Records prior to his tragic murder. That revelation, quite naturally, raises a deeply troubling question. Why did every single person who attempted to leave or expose Clive Davis end up being permanently silenced? Either they mysteriously died, or in Diddy's situation, were apparently locked away behind bars. Is there any real possibility that Clive was the one who quietly reported Diddy before Diddy could report him first? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below.